On today's podcast, we had questions from real estate professionals from the perspective of how to build a team. How do I convert more deals in today's market? As a new agent, how do I start building a personal brand? And what's better, video, audio, or the written word on social media? Make sure to check out episode 268 of the Takhar podcast. For everybody who's watching and listening right now, obviously we have changed our format. If you haven't been with us, shame on you. For the past few months, we are obviously in a Q&A format because I know you real estate professionals are wanting to get more answers to the questions and whatever is going on in your business to get your question answered. Just check the description. It's quite easy. Just go to meetjazztakhar.com/podcast. Bobo, let's get it started, brother.
Question we have is, Jazz, with the current market slowdown, I'm finding it difficult to keep my agents motivated. What strategies can I use to help them stay focused on long-term success when short-term results are lacking?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hearing this more and more from broker owners and managers at real estate brokerages as we do a lot of trainings. Probably one of the reasons they call us in is to inspire their agents as well as give them strategies. And what I'm doing personally for my team is sticking with the basics. Doesn't matter really what happens with market conditions, because in real estate, values are going to go up, values are going to come down. And that depends a lot on what's happening in your actual current market when it comes to the interest rate environment, jobs, what's happening with immigration. Are people actually coming into your city? So the values are always going to go up and down. Okay. And sales volume is also going to go up and down, specifically in the Greater Toronto area right now. I mean, last year, 2023 was one of the worst years in terms of sales volumes. Coming off the heels from 2021 and 2022, some of the best sales volumes ever on record. And I know people kind of felt that right across North America. And so what I would strongly recommend that you do when it comes to your agents is keep them involved. What do I mean by that? Have them show up in person or some type of Zoom webinar a minimum of once a week. Because if you leave real estate professionals to themselves, they're just going to get demotivated. And this business becomes really lonely very, very quickly. And what I would do on these in-person meetings and or webinars is make sure that you let your realtors know that the market will change. At the time of this recording, we're in fall of 2024. And right across North America, the sentiment is based on actual facts that the rates are starting to come down. If you look into the history of real estate, as rates start to come down, more people, renters, as well as people who own homes, start to consider moving up to a bigger home, buying their first home. Investors start to look at income properties again. Why? Because cash flow is going to be better. And so if your realtors are not prepared for this, what's going to happen is guys and gals that have been steadily sticking with the basics, which is putting out content, staying in touch with their clients through emails and phone calls, because even when it's rough out there, you got to make sure that you call your clients, ask if they need anything. Like, just be a regular human being. Do you need anything? Like, are you having issues with your income properties? Maybe you can start to think of ways that they can actually earn more income on their investment properties. Maybe they need to downsize because the costs have gotten too high. So by sticking with those basics, your agents are going to be able to take advantage of the fact that when sales volumes go up, because as I was mentioning, guys and gals like myself, the top 1%, and I'm not saying this to impress you guys, but people who are on the top 1% in the real estate industry, agents and mortgage brokers, they're sticking with those basics and the fundamentals. A lot of them haven't really changed what they've done other than the fact that they've made sure that they reached out to more people. They put on more events. They put out ads on Facebook and Instagram and Google. Why? Because the cost has also gone down when you're running ads because there's less people doing it. And so when the sales volumes go up, the marketplace, buyers, sellers, and investors are going to reach out to the people that they saw or heard from when the market wasn't as good. So in short, you as your team, as the team leader, the broker owner, the manager, what you need to do is not put your head in the sand. You need to reach out to every single agent, like by phone, not by email, by phone, and get them into the office. Get them on Zoom meetings one by one. And you have 500 people? Okay, so then maybe if you have an organization that big, you probably have some people in your leadership team that can also help out. You need to spread the word of positivity and keeping them inspired. What's next, Bobo?
Okay, let's see here. Next question is, I'm struggling with first-time home buyers who are hesitant due to the high interest rates. How do you navigate these conversations without pressuring them, but still ensuring them to take action?
Yeah, look, I think first and foremost, what you do is educate them. And you educate them by letting them know that if they wait, there's nothing wrong with that. And I know you as a real estate professional want to put a transaction together, but it's not your fucking money. And you're not the one, after you sell them a home or make them take action, you're not the one who's going to have to deal with those ongoing monthly obligations. So start off by telling your first-time home buyer that if you wait, look, it'll probably cost you a little bit more, and I'll explain why I think it will cost first-time home buyers a little bit more money if they do wait. But at the end of the day, it's not going to be the end of the world. And so if you're comfortable waiting, that's okay. We're here to help you. Side note to my real estate professionals, by just starting off by saying that, you're going to sound different than 99% of the other real estate professionals because they're all telling them, you got to buy now. You got to buy now before rates start to come down and, values start to go up. I get it. And that's why it will probably cost a little bit more for the first-time home buyer. But fuck, everyone's saying that. Be a little different. Have some empathy for this first-time home buyer. It's the first time that they're gonna be buying a property. It's not a pair of shoes. You buy a pair of couple $100 shoes, you can return them if you didn't like them. Or even if you couldn't return them, who gives a shit? It's not that much of an investment. But we're talking about a big investment, something that they've never done before. Have some empathy that if they don't wanna move forward right now because they don't have all their financial ducks in order, that's okay. Let them know that you're gonna be there in the next 3, 6 months and years to help them. Now, you also want to educate them because what you want to show them is that with rates have gone up, they have gone up compared to the last 2 years. But if you take a comparison on a property, call it $800,000, and you compare it to 2 years ago when rates were lower, you'll actually notice that the upfront cost for the property, even though that it's less now because of the rates gone up, you're going to, as a first-time home buyer, actually pay less. So it's, even though that the interest rates have gone up and the cost of borrowing costs the first-time home buyer more money, it's actually still cheaper to buy now because your land transfer tax, the down payment that's required is less because the purchase price has come down. And so there's a reason that it's, date the rate, but marry the purchase price. That's more important because that is what's going to determine your actual monthly payments as well as your upfront costs. Now, like I mentioned earlier, if it's the buyer just wants to wait because of all the rhetoric in the media in terms of rates have gone down and rates have gone up and now's not a good time to buy. Real estate's not as sexy right now at the time of this recording, fall of 2024. Just Google how many people are Googling real estate in a 30-day period. you'll see a significant decrease. And so my answer to you would be have some empathy, educate, and then let the client make a quality informed decision themselves about their money. Your job is to have empathy first, then educate. In fact, I'm going to talk about the E plus E now more often, because that's what us salespeople need to practice more. Empathy and education. And let the client decide to make an informed decision themselves about their own money. You don't like to be manipulated when you walk into a store or when somebody calls you. You don't want to be convinced. You want to be educated. Give me some facts, and then so I can make a quality decision myself. What's next, Bobo?
So the next question seems like it's from a new agent. As someone new to the industry with a limited budget, what's the best way to start generating leads?
Well,
I don't have the funds for big marketing campaigns yet, and I'm feeling stuck.
Okay. Very, very easy. Because you don't have the money right now to spend on putting on elaborate events, spending money on Facebook and Instagram and Google and putting up a billboard and bus shelter and all that kind of stuff. So here is the two things that you can do that are absolutely free, okay? Number one is on this device, and for my guys and gals that are taking their dog for a walk or driving right now, I picked up my phone. On that device, you have a bunch of people in your contact list. Call them all and just ask them. Just start a friggin' conversation. Don't tell them about the fact that, oh, I just got my license. You don't need to start with that shit. Just have a conversation. How you doing today, Joe? It's Jazz calling. I haven't spoken to you in a while. Great. Things are good? Listen, I'm hoping to get your help. And then shut up. Don't say anything. Because just so you know, human nature is to want to help people. So you're going to hear 99.99% of the time, if not 100, Joe say, yeah, what can I do, man? What do you need? Because his thinking right away is like, oh shit, this guy's asking for money. And you're not going to. You can say, I'm going to be doing some marketing for my real estate business, and I just want to get your opinion on it, man. Tell me what's good. Tell me what's bad. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I'm a big boy. I'm a big girl. I can handle the constructive criticism. Just, are you cool with that? Like a week, some emails. I'm going to be doing some content on social media. I'm going to be maybe putting on some events, not elaborate events, just some easy breezy, cheap, cost-effective events at your office, by the way. And are you cool, Joe, to give me your opinion? I can tell you right now, for 20 years, I've been asking that same question to anybody that I meet that's new. I've been coaching hundreds upon hundreds of agents on just asking that question. The data's in. 99% of the time, Joe says, sure, man. Because he knows you already. He probably likes you. That's why you're in the phone. He just doesn't trust you yet. We're going to work on that over time. So, number one is call everybody in your phone. You cannot be a secret agent. This ain't fucking 007 shit. You need to let people know you're in the business, but I don't want you to be the sleazy person at a funeral handing out your credit card, your business card, and telling everybody that you're an agent. What you need to do is do it in a strategic way. And the strategic way is one of them being free, costs no money, is picking up the phone and calling people. Now, with that same device, start putting out content. Well, if you're a new agent who just got her license 2 weeks ago, I understand you might not be comfortable speaking about ways, because you don't have the experience yet. I get it. Ways to buy and sell and invest. You kind of don't really know your head from your ass right now. So what I would recommend is sit down with other industry experts. Very simple. It's free. Sit down with the lawyer and talk to the lawyer and record this on your device. You don't need the sexy cameras, okay? On your device. Just your phone. I know the quality's not going to be amazing. Who cares? We'll get there. You don't have the money right now. And so what you're going to do is record a 20-minute, 30-minute conversation with the lawyer talking about the 3 biggest mistakes that home buyers make. Then you're going to sit down with a mortgage broker and talk about 3 ways that a first-time home buyer should get their financial ducks in order. The one strategy from a financing perspective that investors need to know to go from 7 properties to 42 properties. Side note, whoever watches that video and replies back, they probably already own 7 because now they want to get to 42. Okay? So understand something. When you're new in business, you have to advertise that you're looking for new clients and new prospects. When I say advertise, I don't mean spending money. Advertise means that you're letting people know. You need awareness. And so the 2 ways to do that when you don't have any money right now is phone calls and social media. A third, I want to give you a bonus. A third way would be to call all the agents in your office and say, hey, this coming weekend or the weekend after, if you don't want to do your open house, can I do it for you? Why? Because you might pick up one person, a new client, when you take on the open house. See, in business, you either got to spend money or sweat equity. When you have money, you don't have to put in as much sweat equity. When you have no money, it's all about sweat equity. And so in your case, to the girl or the guy who asked the question, the only way to do that right now without any money is making phone calls, letting everybody know you're in the business, doing the content, and the third bonus I gave you, which was open houses.
Okay, moving on. This next question is actually interesting. It's coming from a brokerage manager. I've been managing a brokerage for a decade, but with all the changes in the post-pandemic market, my old strategies aren't delivering the same results. What adjustments should I be making to stay competitive?
Look, I think as a leader, you need to be involved as much as possible with the people that you're in charge of, and what that means for me, anyways, because we all went through different obstacles post-pandemic. What that meant for me was doing more one-on-one meetings with not only my sales crew and my agents, but also my staff. And so we implemented one-on-one meetings, and it really doesn't have anything to do with performance stuff. Like, it's not like, hey, I think this is what you're doing well and this is what you could do better, even though we have those conversations. But it was more just talking to Bo about, like, what's going on in your life, man? What's happening, right? And is there any way that we can help? And I think that's kind of the 2 questions that starts the possibility of you building a stronger relationship with the team that you have. Team meaning your agents as well as your staff. I think this goes right down to the admin team, the accounting department, everyone. Which is those 2 questions being, hey, like, what's going on? How can we help? And maybe you're going to sit with Bo 1 month and he's going to say, man, everything's kind of cool, man, and you can't really help me. Great. You know, humans, we go through it ourselves. The next month, they may be like, shit, man, like, I'm having some troubles here. I'm not feeling inspired. I'm not feeling positive every day. Okay, great. Hey, like, how can we help? Did you need to maybe come in a little later for the next week or so? Get a little bit more rest? You need some more time with your fam? What is it? And then actually help them. Because I can tell you that by focusing on the human aspect of my team, not the performance first, it actually boosted our productivity by a minimum of 50% when we focused more on the human part. Meaning, just talk to me about your life, man. What's going on and how we can help. Because your agents, your team, your staff, they're like, when they leave your office or they leave your presence, as I mentioned earlier, this business gets really lonely really quickly. And so if you're not consistently and constantly in touch, and I'm not talking about like a sales meeting, you do that stuff, but I want you to take it to the next level. And the next level is try to build a stronger relationship. And you as the team leader, you tell your agents to do that with their clients. Let's just make sure you're doing it in your own house as well. Oh.
Okay, this next question is about a topic we love. I hear a lot about
I love them
building
all though, but I love all the topics, Bobo.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. I do. Because I never know where these are coming from.
This one is a very dear topic to us. So I hear a lot about building a personal brand, but in such a standard market, I'm not sure where to start. How do I create personal brand that feels authentic while helping me stand out?
Yeah, I think here's the easiest way to build a personal brand as a real estate professional. Okay, so you know that you obviously are a real estate professional, but there's more to you than just that. Meaning, on a piece of paper, I want you to write down all the passions and likes you have, right? So talk to me, like write down things like if you're passionate about fashion, food, travel, sports, tech stuff, shows, movies, comedy, whatever it is, I want you to write down on a piece of paper those passions and likes. Then, remember, it's called personal brand for a reason. You have to get personal. That doesn't mean you have to share everything, i.e., you don't want to share something, i.e., like your family. No problem. Nothing wrong with that. You don't have to do that. But you have to share other personal things, which are your passions and likes. And after writing that down on a piece of paper, now you have to speak about it. Now, here's the thing. You can choose any one of these ways and it will work. Okay? Those ways being either you have to speak on camera, like I'm doing now, or you could do just an audio podcast. I got a lot of people who never watch my videos, but they only listen to my podcast. So that's audio. People like to either see you, listen to you, or you need to write. And another way that you can probably do it as well is like pictures and images. I strongly recommend that if you're newer and you're just venturing into this, you start with video. And the reason is for a couple of reasons. Number one, it is the most effective way. Scientific fact, the numbers are in, that we as humans connect with people that we can see and hear. That's it. Also, though, with video, you can create more content from the video. So it will save you some time and boost the amount of content that you can put out, which will help you with a more effective personal brand. Now, if you're new, here's what I would start with. Start with 100 videos. Don't judge yourself. Don't worry about the judgment of others because they don't really care that much. Like somebody will watch one of your videos on social media. Yeah, they're going to stop and probably make a judgment. But then their life goes on. They scroll past it, okay? So, but you have to stick with it for 100 videos. After 100 videos, you're kind of going to get an idea. Your gut's going to tell you, you know what, I've kind of gotten better. I've gotten more comfortable. My views, my engagement has gone up. Or it's going to be like, this is the worst. Like it really does suck. I got no engagement. 100 videos though, not 7, not 57, not 67, 100. It's a good number, okay? And then you can make the decision, meaning, okay, video's not for me. You know what? But you have to do one of those, video, audio, written word, or images. Otherwise, there's no other way that you're gonna build a personal brand online because those are the ways that humans consume content. I'm okay with you making the decision after 100 videos that, like, you need to have some talent. I'm not sitting here telling you I'm the most talented person in the world on video, but I kind of know from feedback from you guys and gals that, okay, there's maybe some charisma, people like it. It's why I continue to do it. You need the positive reinforcement. That helps. But I don't want you to make that call and not do it after only 42 videos because the sample size is not big enough. Now, if you come to realize that you're not comfortable, you just don't like it, it's not sticking with people, you started with 42 followers, now you're down to 28, you started with 42 views and now you're down to 12 views, okay, no shares in 100 videos. That's the metric that I really care about. You probably just don't have the talent for it. That's okay. I love American football, like NFL specifically. I'm never going to be a wide receiver. It's just, you might not have the talent for video. That's okay. Now you got to decide which other mediums, audio, written word, or the images that you're going to choose. And then put out content, the same type of content that you would have on video on those media, through those mediums, which will then allow, because you have to have a talent in one of them. I'm not talking about you're going to be the best in one of them. You're going to be naturally better at one over the other, right? Like if you ask me to write everything I've said now, guys, I would have a conniption. Like I'd be fucked. I can't write it all day. I can't write at all. And so that obviously is not natural to me. Hence why I never even went down that route. But you know what I do, just so you know, I take this video, I put it into the audio platform for a podcast. I transcribe everything. And then we take out the ums and ahs and we put it out as a blog or an email to my database. So I figured out a way to do it all. Just, I'm not going to physically write the sentence though. So you have to choose one, but start with video if you're just starting out based on the question that we got.
Okay, this next question we have is, my team is starting to burn out from cold calling, especially with the increasing number of unresponsive leads. How can I keep them energized and productive when it feels like we're hitting a wall?
Well, hopefully they're not just cold calling, meaning what I coach more and train more realtors on is warm calling. Start with the people that are in your phone and in your CRM because they know you, like you. We just got to get them to trust you. Okay. Now, if you've done that and you're now making cold calls, switch it up, change it up. Are you doing it with them? Right? To keep them energized and keep them inspired and motivated. Maybe you need to bring me in. Like shameless plug. Bring me in. Let me show them some different scripts and show them that, hey, look, I feel like I'm one of the best when it comes to booking appointments. Like, I'm not trying to sound egotistical, but it's just true. I have a lot of years of experience with it. So maybe bring in somebody. Don't bring me in, bring someone else in so that at least they can see that, hey, you got to go through the rejection, especially when it's cold calling, because I don't know who likes to be cold called, right? Now there's ways that you can, again, strategize and use certain scripts and book appointments, but you have to do something different. And one of the things that I always recommend is the leader doing it as well. And if you haven't done it yourself, then you shouldn't be telling them to do it without bringing in someone that's doing it. Meaning that if you're the leader, you can't just tell people to start making phone calls if you've never done it yourself. And so at bare minimum, at least bring in the resources that could help your guys and gals on your team. Now, the other thing is do you have other funnels? Like cold calling is just a funnel of getting leads. The other funnels is warm calling, content, advertising online, i.e. Facebook, Instagram, and Google, and then getting referrals. Those are kind of the 5 ways that you can bring in money, generate business. And so are you only doing one? You can't be a one-trick pony in today's market. There's too much competition. It's never a good idea just to have one funnel because when one dies out, you're screwed. So you want to have multiple ways that you're generating business. Bobo?
Okay, this next question is, I've been in real estate for over 15 years and I'm finding it tough to keep up with the rapid changes in technology. How can I stay relevant and embrace new tools without feeling overwhelmed?
Look, I think you don't have to. What I would do is bring on a staff member, even a partner, and go more into your strengths. I mean, 15 years in the business. If you've been doing it full time, I have a funny feeling that, you're generating a lot of business through referrals and repeat clients. You kind of know what you're doing. And now this feeling of overwhelm is coming from, I completely understand technology, especially with AI. And so if you have tried it and it's not worked out for you, then I would say just get rid of the feeling. And the best way to do that is just bring on a partner, bring on a staff member. Like, I don't know how to edit any of these videos other than that big, like, if the fucking cameras didn't have the red button, I wouldn't even know how to turn, like, record. But other than that, like, I brought on a team. I left money on the table and said, Bobo, Clyde, and the others, like, you guys are going to do this, right? I did try it. It just didn't work well for me. It did overwhelm me as well. And now there's other aspects of my business that overwhelm me, like making systems. I love coming up with ideas, but I hate the whole process of systems. I hate it. It's boring to me. My business partners, one in my real estate company, one in my coaching academy, they're fucking like, to me, in my world, in my ecosystem, they're geniuses. It comes naturally to them. Just natural. Boom. No problem. Right? Content for me comes naturally. Making calls and talking to people and meeting people, and how do I break down a sales team in terms of the whole appointment process. All that stuff is natural for me. They're good at it as well, but I'm probably better at it. Like, the numbers are just in. And it's more natural for me again. And so what I would recommend to you is whatever's overwhelming to you, try it. Like, you know, remember when we were kids and we would tell our kid, our parents would say, like, eat the broccoli. And we would say, I hate it. And our parents would be, you never even tried it. Like, at least try it. And then, okay, you make the decision that you don't like the broccoli, you don't like the technology. That's okay. Look, you're only gonna hit singles and doubles at best, working on your weaknesses. That's just my personal opinion. It takes too long, and it's overwhelming, and it's demotivating when you're working on your weaknesses, and because it's not natural to you, you're not going to be able to hit the home runs and grand slams in business and in life when you just go all in on your strengths, right? So, Mr. 15 years in the business, you're probably naturally good at meeting people. I'm just going to make some assumptions. I know I'm making an ass out of myself and you by making the assumptions. I understand. But why not just focus more on that? And then have someone else handle everything else. Now, you might say, well, Jazz, I don't have enough money to pay somebody. Well, what if you just got to go through a bunch of people in terms of asking? There's people who would want to be partnered with you. You don't have to partner at 50-50. It could be, hey man, Bo, I'm going to bring you into this company. You're going to get 10%, 25%, whatever it is. I need your help with it. But you have to take care of all that. All that technology stuff and all the system. Like, you got to take care of that. Meaning they're filling your gaps. They're filling your weaknesses. And then that allows you to play in your strengths, which will always get you your home runs and grand slams. Sidney Crosby, Michael Jordan, LeBron, Beyonce, Michael Jackson. I don't think any of them gave a shit about their science grade or the grade that they got in math. They were like, fuck all that. I'm just going to go play basketball because I'm naturally gifted. God sprinkled something on Messi and Ronaldo. Very simple. Well, do you think they're the only ones that got that sprinkled on them? I don't. I will not believe that. I'm living it. I know I got sprinkled with something. I know Bo did. My job now is to have Bo realize that he got that something sprinkled on him. We just got to find out what it is and then fucking live in that all day long. I get it. You got to do some other stuff, but you know what I mean? 90%. If you can get to a place where 90% of the time you're living in your strengths, I'm telling you right now, guys, gals, for anyone who's listening and takes action on this, You will change your life. Fuck changing your business. That will just be a byproduct. You will change your life when you go all in on your strengths and have somebody else fill in the gaps of the weakness. Bobo. Let's take, what are we good if we take one more?
Yeah.
Okay,
this
good.
is our last question.
Okay.
We're getting plenty of leads and booking appointments, but our agents are struggling to close deals. What are some strategies we can implement to improve our closing rates and conversions?
I like this question because as you were asking it, I was hoping that they were going to say, like, how do we, like, we're having good numbers when it comes to booking the appointments, and now it's a different part of the funnel that's not working. Meaning that we know that calls are being made. We know people are being nurtured. We know emails are being sent. Appointments are being booked. People are showing up on the appointments. So this is great so far. Now it's about converting. Now what I would want to find out is, and you as the team leader need to find this out, is what is happening. Because I understand, like, okay, they're not closing yet, but let's find out why. So are these appointments happening online? Because if they're happening online, then what we might need to do is make a shift and make it in person. Make the appointment in person. Let me give you a real life example right now. Actually just came to me 2 days ago from my team, my sales agents in my real estate company, okay? So they said, Jazz, what's going on right now is the fact that we're doing really good on the appointments, very similar to this question, by the way. However, when we make the introduction to the mortgage broker, so the client, buyer, investor can start the process of understanding what the costs are, what they can get pre-qualified for, they're not giving the information to the mortgage broker. And then the client starts to ghost us. I'm like, okay, great. This is great. Great data. So the shift that I made is, let's not now worry. Let's test this. It's a test. All this stuff is hard, guys. Anything valuable in life, i.e. you want to be in the top 1% of some type of, like in some industry, it's going to be hard. And so you have to test it first to see if it works. So I'm in a real life test as we speak. What I said to my team is, from now on, don't worry about making the introduction to the mortgage broker. Show properties to the client one time. Meaning, if the client has somewhat even of an idea of where they want to buy, and if they don't have that, then the client's not motivated. Okay? They're just kind of kicking tires. And so if they say, look, I'm looking at downtown Toronto, that's kind of where I want to be. And then you normally would say, okay, great, let's find out how much we can kind of get pre-qualified for. But that's where we're getting stumped right now. That's where we're hitting a wall. Our clients are not sending the paperwork and the documents that the mortgage broker needs to do his or her job. So I said to my team, guys, let's get the client out. Meaning, let's go show them a day of properties. Why? Because when I'm with the client and my team's going to be with the client face to face, now we can start saying to the client, hey, this is great. Let's keep looking. Hey, and then you'll get into conversations, right? While you're showing the condo. Hey, just so you know, some properties might get into multiple offers. We also, from a negotiation perspective, we want to know what we can actually qualify for so I can actually get you a better deal. That's going to allow me to get you a better deal, because if we do some of this work right now, we don't not have to have a financing condition. We'll still put in a financing condition, but if we've done some of the legwork ahead of time, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, prospect, then I might be able to do 3-day financing condition instead of a 5-day, which strengthens our offer. It shows the seller that we're that much more serious. So we give the seller something on this end, and we're going to take a little bit from the seller on the other end, which is a better deal, a better closing date for us. It could be a myriad of things, right? But if you don't test this out, I said to my team, we're always going to be hitting our head against the wall at the same place. So let's get the client out, because when the client's out and about with you, a lot more conversations can happen. Understand something, guys. Your prospects, they're busy too. They got shit in their life too. I know we want them to feel like this purchase is the most important thing, because for us, for some of us, for sure, it's like, holy fuck, I need the commission. I get it. I understand, but they're not going through that. So you got to have some empathy. But strategically, your conversion rate, like this test that I'm going to be running with my team, because of my experience. It's not because I'm the smartest guy in the world. It's because of my experience. I know it's going to work because they're just going to be speaking to the client face to face, saying what I just said, but also saying, hey, you don't have enough time? That's fine. Look, why don't we, while we see these homes, jump in my car. Don't park your car. I got your parking. Don't worry. It's paid for. Or let's go in an Uber, right? We're both in the back together. More conversations happen, more rapport building, better relationships get built. Let's call the mortgage broker on speaker. And if you're going to do that, the day before you call the mortgage broker and say, bro, I'm showing Bo, the client, condos from 2 to 4 tomorrow. Make sure you're available for me, because you know how he hasn't been able to send you the paperwork and the documentations and do the application? We're going to do it live with you in the car. Okay? So you can't just give up at they're not saying it to my team. You can't just give up that, oh, they're not sending over the paperwork. That's a fucking problem. I get it. But let's be solution oriented. Bobo, that was the last question. All right, guys, really quickly. All you got to do to get your question answered, you don't need to come on the actual podcast live. All you got to do is just submit your question, write it down by going to meetjazztakhar.com/podcast. Meetjazztakhar.com/podcast. I'll see you next week.